Yeah.
You can't tell a man to eat healthy if the wife is not in tune with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go and tell him in the office, because they asked me to eat healthy. Oh, really? Did they give you money
They
for
give
it?
you money
You
for
know,
it.
you know.
Welcome again to Wellness Waves Undiluted. It's me again, Lika, your host.
And my name is Monica Hemben Emunjaza, welcoming you all to this episode. We will be taking on corporate wellness on this episode. And to share perspectives on that today, we have a very special guest, Mrs. Stella Eze. She's a PR guru with several years of experience under her belt. Join me to welcome Stella to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And if you could just go right ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Okay, so my name is Stella Eze, like you said. First degree was English, and then I went in to do my master's in public relations. Okay. And then also I added, like you said, under my belt, a diploma in international public relations.
Okay.
But you wonder how I got into wellness. I think it just came from, having a passion for wellness. And that's the beauty of corporate wellness, employee wellness, because you try to separate it from the medical team and get the employees to own it. For them to own it, you don't have to be a medical professional.
Absolutely.
You just need the passion.
Yes.
And that's how I was spotted. And I ran it for a couple of years, for about 3 years, for my last company where I worked, which was ExxonMobil. And that's how I got into wellness.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Excellent. I host the Dubai Wellness and Self-Care Summit. Have a great passion for self-care. And when we talk about corporate wellness, there's definitely a space for self-care there. And over the years, we've been engaging organizations to help to build that. So it's really nice to have you on this episode to talk about your perspectives and your thoughts around that. Because we do understand that there has to be that ownership. People have to be very deliberate, very intentional when we talk about self-care, and then it evolves into corporate wellness because the corporations have a responsibility. So could you share some insights of your experience on that?
So in simple terms, corporate wellness, employee wellness, as either term, it still applies, is basically employers designing wellness programs, either to improve the health and wellness of its employees, or to maintain the ones who have been established as having been in a good place in their wellness journey, also to overcome certain wellness-related problems. For example, substance abuse, tobacco cessation, all of that. So that's what corporate wellness is all about. And the way it's run, some corporations will make it compulsory that you have a training on wellness as soon as you enter. It's part of your onboarding experience, really. Or you could have seminars, you could have health fairs, or you could actually have a third party come in and then just deploy different wellness programs. Employees are the corporation's most valuable assets.
Yeah.
So if you keep them happy, they give you production.
Yeah.
What is it in it for corporations? ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how often do you, or when you worked there, how often do you have situations where you have someone, let's use abuse of medications, right? You have someone who is suffering an addiction, for example. If I understand, these are things that are frowned upon in any workspace or any workplace. And they decide, okay, we want to help this staff, he's valuable, we want this person still on board, and it's something that is possible to help the person through. At what point does the company say, okay, this is more than what we can manage as a company and they need to let you go? So how much is letting go of an employee in relations to wellness? How often does that happen?
Okay, so there are levels of addiction, different substances. It could be alcohol, it could be tobacco, it could actually be some lifestyle things,
Yes.
But different organizations have their red flag and then their melting point. And for ExxonMobil, it's narcotics, hard drugs. They have zero tolerance for that. But for other, maybe health-related activities that can be helped, you can be put on a program and then helped through until you stabilize, then you become productive to the company. But for narcotics, there's zero tolerance. Yes. A lot of people have been let go, especially as it affects, especially if you're in the operational areas. You're operating maybe machinery, and there's so many other lives at stake.
Yes.
So you're a risk factor, high risk factor.
Yes.
So you can go from a green to orange, from orange to red. Narcotics is red. You're out.
So in still relating to this, let's say it's now a case of depression or grief. You lost someone, and you're not showing up at work. Your line manager has complained. So I don't know, maybe what I'll say is kind of walk me through the process. Like, does it go first through HR? Is there a complaint? Maybe you come and you speak and say, I had this issue. Then they say, okay, we need to take you to this department so you can get or seek help. Like, how does it really flow?
Okay, for our workspace, which also also obtains in so many other workplaces. The thing is, in corporate wellness, you must have champions who own the process.
Okay.
And those champions are embedded in every facet of the company.
Okay.
Every department must have it, from management to even the gate men at work. They have wellness champions. And what do? Part of their duty is to identify people who are showing signs of instability. Okay. Maybe you come to work, you're not looking, somebody who used to look sharp and all groomed, all of a sudden, you come in with a shirt all tucked out at the back. And then you follow, you need to report it to HR, and then HR puts you on a program. That is it, because wellness is divided into mental health, physical, emotional, and then also stress management. That's what we call resilience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you go into the resilience part, it helps you to manage those things, from depression to abuses. By the way, abuse can be men who abuse and women who that is established.
Yeah.
So we put you on a program and then we'll walk you through it. But what gives the employee confidence to come forward? Because it could be self-reporting, or it could be observed by your supervisor or somebody who is working close to you, is the confidentiality that is attached to it.
Okay.
They know they are safe. They're in a safe place where they can talk about it, and they are not castigated. They are not stigmatized because of it, but they have a safe environment where they are helped until they come to a state of well-being again.
Why I'm asking this is because I'm sure we have guests who will be listening and they have challenges, but they just bottle it when they are at work. Like, I must just keep, that face of I'm okay.
That's right.
And I just get through the day. When I get home, I deal with my challenges again. I like that you mentioned that comfort of being able to feel secure, to be able to talk about it.
That's right.
How much would you say that, one, it's respected? Because it can be the norm, like everybody says this, but it's not always the case. And also, when you feel vulnerable, or you feel like maybe it's a colleague that goes and tells HR, she hasn't been herself. Every time I catch her in the toilet crying, and they go to HR saying it, and the person comes there and is like, no, it's a lie, I'm okay, there's nothing wrong with me, because of that fear of will I be judged, will I lose my job? I would just like you to throw a bit more light for people like that who are afraid to even show how they feel in this kind of situation.
Okay, so for us, we have what you call the EAP program, Employee Assistance Program.
Okay.
It directly works towards this.
Okay.
That's what it's designed for. Everybody knows about it. Even in designing your wellness program, ab initio, when you're setting objectives, you need to let the employee know that apart from the benefit to the employer, which is bottom line ROI,
Yeah.
there's also a great many benefits to the employee.
So,
Yeah.
It is better for you to either self-report or have yourself checked into that program, because you see people who have turned around because of the program, and there's a lot of confidentiality to it. Sometimes you don't see your consultant, you don't see your expert rate. It's telephone-based.
Yeah.
And some are not even in the country.
or digital.
It could be Malaysia, it could be America. It will feel that the person who is going to help you is in Argentina, for example. It's telephony. So you don't see the person, but you get your
To help you.
help
Help
that you need. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not sure in all the time I worked there, 23 years, whether we've had anybody who has come to say, oh, I'm being castigated because of, no. There's always help for them. And they are told that the earlier you report, the better you are stabilized and the better you get back to work. But if consistently you refuse to be helped, you can take a horse to the street, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When it gets to
Absolutely.
that, it could be cancelled to maybe find another job. Maybe if it's pressure of work that is causing it,
Yeah.
we could try moving you to a different department, for example,
Yeah.
Yes.
that has less stress, or actually moving you to a different kind of job outside the
Very
company.
well. Very well.
Wow, that's
Because
amazing.
the corporate wellness, is there has to be that culture within the organization,
right.
and there has to be that understanding, and just like you talked about bottling up and going home, there has to be that work-life balance. So when the corporations see wellness, see self-care as something that needs to be embraced and is in place, then you see compliance coming up, and obviously people actually using the resources that are provided. I deal with some organizations when we talk about the corporate wellness, and there's a lot of discussion about stress and post-traumatic stress disorder, depending on the kind of organization that you are in. So when you talk about trauma and stress, stress is everybody has some level.
Everybody has
It's
it.
how you
Everybody has
manage
that.
it, the resilience that you talked about,
Yes.
building that resilience and teaching people how to manage those situations,
Yeah.
is very, very important, as well as ensuring that they understand some very basic things, for example, nutrition, physical activity. Many people are very sedentary now in the kind of work that they do. They need to exercise, that lifestyle. And when we see that there are a lot of not diseases now that impact our work, blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and the mental stressors. So definitely corporations looking at wellness, it's definitely something that is
key.
key.
Yeah, so
Definitely
what I would
so.
even ask, is because you worked in a big company
Yes.
That's right.
that already
Has
had
a
a
structure.
structure. I'm talking of a small business, middle-sized business. Do you have any information or understanding with those kind of business? Because I know of some companies that it's kind of merged with HR.
Yes.
So they can have a department of its own. So it's kind of merged with HR. And I know companies who don't even practice it at all. So another question would be, are they people who practice this as a consulting? So like an
That's right.
external business that can provide this service for a company. And also smaller companies who don't even see this as a service that they need to provide. How would you advise them to go about this? Because we're hoping that they are listening.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I also belong to the Employee Assistance Program of Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
So, and they offer a range of services. It doesn't matter if it's a one-man company,
Yes.
5 persons. In the corporation I worked for, there were over 11,000 people.
Yeah.
I used to go to 42 locations, onshore, offshore. But for it to be effective, you must know, first of all, data is important.
Yeah.
You must do your survey, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's internal survey, to find out what are the prevalent health-related issues that is impacting the productivity of an employee.
Absolutely.
When you know that, then you can design programs that are specific
and tailored.
and tailored. That's the only time it becomes effective. So it doesn't matter the number of employees.
Yeah.
You just have to know what are
What are
their
the
specific,
challenges?
peculiar, yes. So you can't come to maybe a small company that has maybe 10 or 5 individuals, and you're telling them, oh, for you to have recreation, you can go on hot air balloon, for example. But you can tell them to take a walk around the block.
Yes.
And people do that. You can organize aerobic classes.
Yes.
That used to be very popular in ExxonMobil, by the way. But we did it department by department.
Okay.
Because it was a large corporation.
Yeah.
Because it had multiple locations, onshore, offshore. The programs we designed for onshore were different, slightly different.
Absolutely.
There are some that are basic. They are like a recurring decimal for everybody.
Yes.
But there are some that are specific to offshore people. They are cut off from their families. So when you're designing program, you have to make it tailored so it'll be all inclusive.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's senior management, local government, the lower management. You should also remember that they have families.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't tell a man to eat healthy if the wife is not in tune with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go and tell him in the office, because they asked me to eat healthy. Oh, really? Did they give you money for it? So you need to make it in such a way there's something that he can take and say, oh, by the way, honey, these are some of the things I say that this vegetable can do for me. Can you incorporate it into the diet?
Food, yeah.
So you need to know the peculiarities of your work environment, the kind of employees you have, the prevalent. When we were doing this, the people in Lagos, their health-related issues were different from the people in Warri, for example, in Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening to the air in Port Harcourt, but we seem to have a lot of people who are coming out with respiratory problems.
Pollution.
So you can't be telling me, oh, do more exercises. Meanwhile, they are looking for ways to clear their respiratory system, and live have cleaner air around them. So it has to be tailored. If it's not tailored, it will be DOA, dead on arrival. Yes. So it doesn't matter the number of employees.
Yeah.
And
so
this employee assistance program of Nigeria, they have all different classes of professionals.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't matter the number of employees. They have it tailored to suit you.
So if we jump into that, because we're thinking more of informing people.
Yes.
How do you get to join? Do you have to join? Is it something the company would have to register for? How does it work to be part of it?
So there are 2 ways. You can register as an individual.
Okay.
And just get the benefits.
Okay.
It's mostly a conglomeration of experts, medical experts, but mostly psychologists and clinical psychologists, because you need to know when an employee just needs psychological evaluation to psychiatric evaluation.
Yeah.
When it gets to that, you have to now take them to where they will get help. So EAPN, for short, you can register as an individual, or you can register as a corporate body. Or you could just employ them on a call-out basis. You can contract out their services, and then somebody will come. Okay. There are so many companies now who belong there, and then they render their services across board.
Is it expensive or is free?
It's not free.
Naija.
Did you say free? Did you say free?
Naija,
I'm sure you don't even believe in yourself. There's no free, no free lunch in New York or anywhere else.
And the people that are working there, they must be paid salary. So it can't be free.
Yes. I know, but there's so many benefits to be had.
Thank you so much for that. I guess that's something that would provide information so people that are interested in using such services for their companies and even as individuals to be able to know how to go about it. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Another thing I wanted to add is for it to succeed, you must have senior management buy-in.
It has
if
to
you
be.
don't have it,
on
the employees will think, oh, that's another one of those things. But when you have senior management buy-in, especially when you're about to launch the program, and then the senior management is out there in front participating. You want to do your numbers because that's where it starts. The bottom line is know your numbers. Because how do you measure it anyway?
Yeah.
How do you measure it? The indices. It's your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So when the MD of a company comes to subject himself to take cholesterol level
Yeah.
and is not
Blood
afraid,
pressure.
is not ashamed to share it, every other employee will
be
want to buy
interested in
it.
doing
So
it.
management buying, very
Very
essential.
key.
Yes.
Practice what you
definitely
preach.
Practice what
relate
you
to that
preach.
because I worked with an organization and we were trying to set that up for them, and exactly what you're saying, the management buy-in is very key for it to be accepted and even
That's
for
right.
the sustainability. So it's definitely something that needs to grow. And like you rightly said, a lot of the bigger organizations have that structure,
Yeah.
but the smaller ones, are probably looking to outsource and try to see how to put those structures in place.
Yeah.
But it's very, very critical when you talk about corporate wellness because it affects us as individuals,
That's
as
right.
families, as communities, and it has impact. So I want to thank you very much, Stella,
Thank
for
you.
coming on this episode of
Thank you.
Wellness Waves Undiluted, and ask our viewers to
Remember to subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell another friend, tell another friend, until you tell a friend, right?
Definitely.
Thank you very
Everybody
much.
would love you to continue to watch Wellness Waves Undiluted with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thank
Aunt
you for
Stella,
having
coming.
me. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay.